Searching for one's history is a very important journey to discover who you are, where you're from, and I've been on that journey recently. I'm very excited to share this with you. I have a great family history. We have traced that through photos, word of mouth, Bible entries, but the trail grew cold at one point involving where my family is from before the United States. Well, recently, I got some answers about that. Ever since my brother and I were small, I've been the one fascinated with all things old, specifically my family history, beyond just my mom, the short lady on the left, and all her siblings. And thanks to a cousin who compiled this family tree, I know a lot more. I'm blessed to have known my grandmother and great-grandmother on my mother's side. I have photos and portraits of my great-great-grandmother, great-great-great-grandmother, and her mother, my great-great-great-great-grandmother, Rachel Fields, born in 1810. Beyond that, the trail goes dark. Until now.
Here are my initials.
Recently, I took a DNA test purchased from African Ancestry.com.
One swab from the package. Let's open the package first.
A simple 20 swabs on the inside of each cheek will help determine my family's history. The test traces my mother's line through her mother and her mother and her mother and so on, 500 to 2,000 years back.
I've always had my own speculation based on historical events of where I think my family originated from. And again, this will tell me where the family originated from in Africa, which country on the continent.
Once done, I seal up the sample, mail it off, and wait a little more than 6 weeks to be exact. And then the day finally came.
So I got home this afternoon from running a few errands and opened my mailbox, and in I find this. This is from African Ancestry, and it is the results that I've been waiting for my DNA test for weeks. Just talked to the photographer a little while ago about it, and I was getting a little antsy, and now they're here, and now I have to wait to open them so I can get my response on camera. I suppose I could just use this, but my photographer has told me, forbid me even to do it without her being present, so I have to wait.
So where am I from? Ghana? Well, that would be my guess. And it's barely an educated guess, just a guess. So tune in tomorrow to see the results of my search. Also, check out WFLA.com. We're going to put some links on there that can help you trace your family's ancestry as well. And one important thing to note about this DNA test, the DNA facility that AfricanAncestry.com uses doesn't actually store your information. In fact, they don't even know who you are. They don't ever give them the name. They just submit the sample and they hold on to the name. So your privacy is protected in that respect.
Fascinating.
It's been a fun journey. I can't wait to tell you guys where it is tomorrow. Searching for one's history is always important, and for some it's tougher than others. I've had the pleasure of knowing my great family history through details I've gotten in photos, word of mouth, Bible entries, that sort of thing, but the trail does grow cold at one point, where my family is from before the United States. Well, yesterday I told you about a DNA test that I took to determine my African roots, and today, here's the answer. Yesterday, I told you about the DNA test that I purchased from AfricanAncestry.com. A simple 20 swabs on the inside of each cheek helps determine my family's history. It traces my mother's line through her mother and so on. I received those results, but didn't open them until I could find out on camera.
And that officially had to be the longest 12 hours. I don't know how I slept. I really am excited about this, so I'm not going to belabor the point. We're going to open it up and see what we got here. Welcome to African Ancestry, and I'm dropping it all over the floor. All right. It's with great pleasure that I report our matriclan analysis successfully identified your maternal genetic ancestry. By analyzing your mitochondrial DNA sequence, we have determined that you share maternal genetic ancestry with Massa and Mafo people in Cameroon.
And now the real work begins to find out more about Cameroon and the Massa and Mafa people.
I was a little shocked.
For starters, I turned to the president of AfricanAncestry.com, Gina Page. We talked from her office in Washington, D.C. via Skype.
Right. And when you take these tests, you think you're going to get the answer to a question, which you do, but then it opens up a whole plethora of additional questions. Well, what is the country like? What are the people like? What are the things in my family's traditions that are similar to their traditions? How can I get there?
And the fight to figure out more about my family and share that with them continues, and this Cameroonian connection is an amazing start.
Yeah, you know, Cameroon is one of the countries that we find the most often, and Ghana, interestingly enough, is one of the countries that we find the least often. So you're in good company in terms of your Cameroonian results.
The northern part of Cameroon was an important part of the slave trade network, which explains why so many people in the United States may share the same DNA trait. And for me and many others with that connection, no matter the country or continent of origin, knowledge really is power.
Well, knowing where you're from is a critical component of knowing who you are.
My family was super excited when I told them that news, by the way. One important thing about the DNA test, the DNA facility that AfricanAncestry.com uses doesn't actually store your DNA. In fact, they don't even know whose DNA belongs to whom. Only AfricanAncestry.com knows the names, so your privacy is protected in that sense. By the way, if you'd like to learn more about your ancestry, we put a couple of links to resources for you on WFLA.com under links.